So I am going to show you now how to use the county GIS system to look up property owners and their mailing addresses. Give me 1 second while I share my screen. You can access the county's GIS system by going to our webpage, warrencountync.com, and we actually make it pretty easy for you because we have a quick link to our GIS system here. But you can also access it by going to the drop-down menu for departments and finding GIS. GIS is actually a part of our planning, zoning, and code enforcement department, but we do have it separately listed under the department drop-down. So I'm going to click on my quick link from the home page, and it's going to take you into the GIS page. You'll have a little bit of information, contact information, hours. And then in order to get to the actual mapping system, you need to click on this link, GIS website. This is what you'll see when you click on the GIS website link. You'll see a zoomed out view of Warren County with the municipalities marked here. Keep in mind that you would be able to look up property owners, map numbers, addresses, that kind of thing. You'll be able to use all the features for parcels located within the city limits of the 3 municipalities. However, if you ever choose to use the zoning tool to look up a parcel zoning district, keep in mind that Norlina and Warrenton govern their own zoning jurisdictions. So they might end up being a certain color in our county GIS system for a zoning district, but you should confirm with the respective towns on what the parcel is zoned because they have their own separate zoning ordinance. They govern their own zoning districts. So the primary focus of this video is to do a search for a property, to find out the owner, find out the site address and the mailing address. The site address is not always the same thing as the mailing address. Sometimes property owners live out of town, out of state, and so their mailing address might be different than the site address. Some parcels, if there is not a building on them, if it's just raw land, may not actually have a site address. Keep that in mind. Usually parcels are only given an actual street address when buildings are put on the property or when someone intends to develop and put a structure on a property. So there's a few ways that you can look for a parcel. I'm going to show you a couple of the key tools that you're going to be using when you search for parcels in GIS. So you have tools here on the left side of your screen. You also have tools here at the top. We're going to look at the parcels at the top. The magnifying glasses are pretty standard symbols for that. You have your zoom in to zoom in with the magnifying glass. You have this magnifying glass here with the zoom out. So I'll show you here. You have to click on the icon in order to activate it. Always make sure that your icon is highlighted in yellow if that's the icon you want to use. Otherwise, it's going to be using you might be grabbing something or zooming in when you really intend to do something else. So if you want to zoom in closer, you click the zoom in icon and then you click the screen. You can keep clicking if you find that you need to get over into the county. You can scroll if you're on a laptop, using your fingers on your mouse pad. I recommend that you click your grabber. This is called the pan map tool. I call it a grabber. You click that grabber and then you click on your map and you can slide your map north, south, east, west to get to the area of the county that you want to be in. So if you're trying to look for something within the town of Warrenton, for example, you can get your map more centered, go back to your icon to zoom in, and you start to see the parcel level data once you've zoomed into a certain point. Zoom out works the same way. You click on the zoom out icon, you click the map again, and you can zoom back out. So you only will see street names at certain levels. So we've zoomed out here. We see some of our main streets. So depending on your familiarity with the geography, you might have to use that grabber tool. So you can continue to zoom in until you find the parcel that you're looking for. If you are able to, if you know where it's located based on streets, of course, you can navigate that way. Or you can search a different way over here. Let's continue looking this way with just clicking. So if you don't know a owner's name, what I'm showing you right now is probably the best way for you to identify parcel information, because you know the geographic location, but you don't know the owner information, or you might not know the site address or the map number or that kind of thing. So once you've identified the parcel that you want to look at, let's say you're searching for a parcel at the corner of Church Street and North Main. Here it is. You can see a couple pieces of information. This longer mix of numeric and alphabet is the map number. So for this parcel, E6B302 is your map number. If the parcel has a structure on it and it has an address, that'll be denoted by a triangle, and the street number will be on, that's what these yellow numbers here are, the street numbers. So once you're able to identify the parcel that you want to look at, in order to get the information, you need to come over to the eye icon at the top. Click on that eye icon. It's called select by point. I like to call it the information icon, eye icon. Once you've clicked on that icon, you then go back and you need to click on the parcel. The parcel that you're selecting is going to be highlighted in blue at that point, and you'll see a pop-up menu at the pop-up information at the bottom. You can click on hide one result, that link here, to make it tuck back in or to fold, or you can have it pop back out by clicking show result. There's going to be a few pieces of information on this pop-up. You can see the PIN number and the map number. There's usually a description based on the property deed. If there is a plat reference in the Register of Deeds office, meaning that the plat is on file, it will give you that information here. You will see the owner's name. So this parcel is owned by a Colonial Lodge Limited Partnership. There is a second name, New Colonial Lodge Apartments, NC LLC. And then the next thing you're going to see is the mailing address. Okay, again, the next address is going to be, it's next to the owner's name because it is the mailing address. So in this case, the mailing address for Colonial Lodge is P.O. Box 23589, Columbia, South Carolina 29224. You can see where the deed is in our Register of Deeds office based on the deed book. So the deed for this property will be in Deed Book 1019, page 453. There's a little more information. It will tell you the deed date for the owner of record. It will tell you the sale price. And then once you keep scrolling over with this scroll bar here at the bottom, you can see what's called the site address or the situs address. So in this case, the site address is 144 North Main Street, Warrenton. You can see what the tax assessed value is, and then how that breaks down between the building value and the land value. You can also see acreage. This parcel is obviously not 146 acres. In this case, the GIS, the tax map, handles acreage within city limits a little differently than it would out in the county. And then you can also see the heated area. This would be the square footage of the building. Okay, so in this case, you know that the building is a little over 28,000 square feet. So that's one way for you to find out who the owners are, their mailing address, and their site address. If you're trying to make contact with them, definitely want to use your mailing address. That's the address that's in our tax office where they receive their property tax bill. So more likely than not, that will be up to date. Something else you might want to do is click on a property report link, and that property report will open in a new tab, and it'll focus specifically on that parcel that you just selected. You can print this page if you needed it for a report or something like that, giving you all that same information that was at the bottom. Okay, so if you know the geographic location, that's one way to search. There's a couple other ways to search for owner information. If you come over to the icons on the left side of the screen, you can hit this search bar. The search magnifying glass will pop out. And today we're just going to look at a basic search. You can search the GIS map for a few pieces of information. If you hit the drop-down link, you can search parcels by owner name, parcels by the map number if you have it, the record number, or if you have the site address. So in this case, let's try the site address. You may know the street address, but you may not know who owns it. So in this case, let's try 602 West Ridgeway Street. It'll start to populate as you type in. This is County Administration Office. We'll click that address, and GIS will take you to the parcel with that address. You'll see here that I'm going to use my eye icon and then all that information down at the bottom. Description, owner, mailing address, so on and so forth. That's one way to search. If you don't know the property address, site address, or maybe it doesn't have an address because it doesn't have a structure on it, but you do happen to know who owns it, or maybe you want to search all the properties that belong to a certain entity or a certain individual. We'll continue to use Warren County government in this case. So as I start typing, you can see it begins to auto-populate. So I'm going to select Warren County. And obviously Warren County owns quite a few properties in town, so there's really no guarantee which one, when you click on that drop-down menu, which one it's going to pop to. But you can go back to your zoom out icon, click on your zoom out icon, click the map, and it should be that everything owned by that property owner will be highlighted in blue. In this case, that Warren County may not have populated with the most options, so let's try a different one just to show you how that works. We're going to start zooming out. Also, in this case, for Warren County may not have been the best example because properties under foreclosure will go under that name. But the point is that you can see by zooming out all the properties that belong to that property owner. So, so those are probably the basic ways that you would search. Again, knowing the geographic location, finding the parcel, clicking on the map, or coming over to your basic search icon and searching by either owner name or address. Keep in mind that we will list things by last name. So let's just pick Jones. And then if you start typing Jones, it'll begin to populate. If you have issues finding a property owner name, that's not uncommon. It's a symptom of our GIS system. So you can contact the tax office, or you can try to search by the site address or finding it geographically speaking. While we're here, I'll go ahead and show you that those are your basic search functions. I'll go ahead and show you one quick tool. There's lots of tools that you can use on GIS, but if you wanted to search for what the zoning is for that parcel, you need to go into the map layers icon. There's lots of boxes that you can turn on here for a different layer. we default into these layers checked here. You need to check your zoning layer. Once you've checked your zoning layer, you'll see the map change colors. And so the parcel that we've highlighted here, parcel D4D161, has turned yellow once I clicked on that zoning layer. Then in order to see what that zoning color means, you go from your layer list, which is highlighted in your map layer menu, and you go over to legend, and legend will show you what the different colors represent. So in this case, this light color, this light yellow here is zoned AR for agricultural residential. Again, Norlina and Warrenton have their own zoning jurisdictions. So just because they show up one color in our county GIS, I highly recommend checking with the towns to make sure that zoning layer and legend matches up with the correct district.